Hey everybody. The last few, I've probably had like three comments, I think, over the last 6 months. I think it's about 6 months that the volume was too low. I listen to myself. I watch all my videos. I listen to myself with the volume all the way up and double speed. Um, but I in here I was able to in my I think this is OBS. I was able to max out the volume, so it is a little louder. So I apologize if it's blowing you out right now. Like if you have it all turned up for my previous videos, and now it's really loud. But I do have it maxed out. I know. I guess I don't talk very loud. Um, that's I don't know. I just how it is. It is weird to me that like on your TV or on your computer that you can't just say, "Hey, I want to hear this decibel level," and like because it stinks like when you're watching like Netflix or whatever, and then you're watching a show, and then like they have the people and they're talking. It's like they're talking really really low, and then all of a sudden the music comes on and it just blasts you up, blasts like dot 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 dot, and you're just like, "Gosh, guys, why can't I control it to, for a situation where maybe someone is sleeping next to you or maybe someone's in the next room where it just maintains a constant loudness." But anyways, that's not what we're here for. But I did also want to mention that I got a new subscriber yesterday, and I hope I didn't start this video with "Hey guys," because it's "Hey guys and gals." Because my new subscriber got me to number 70 is actually a female, and she definitely seems like a coder. So I think that's cool. I think that's really really cool. I don't know if she's looking at these ThreeJS ones or if she's looking at the voice ones or if she's just into coding period, but I think it's pretty neat. It's always nice. There's definitely individuals from individual countries. Always jumps out at me when someone's from some exotic country that I've never even heard of before. And now like of the 70, there's one girl in there. Actually, I can't see all of the subscribers. I can only see like half of them. Of the half that I can see, there's one girl in there, which is pretty cool. And yeah, and it's just a very interesting crew. And I've always believed that like if you take any segment of society, I don't care if you're talking like tree farmers or aeronautical engineers or uh, race car drivers, there's a specific percentage of them that can code. And it's the same percentage. No matter what subgroup you take out, you could take computer scientists and you can take uh, surfers, and that number is the same. And I don't know what that number is. I'm guessing it's somewhere around 8 to 14%. And I don't think it has anything to do with genetics or anything like that. I think it's all about just what your life experiences were. Just the things that, like, were you the person that had to teach your 5-year-old sibling how to tie their shoes? So you had to sit there and go, okay, now what are the steps? If you had to break things down into steps because of some point throughout your life that became your job, then you're probably well suited to code. And it doesn't matter what other sorts of education you have around you. It's about that. Now, obviously, you probably need to be able to read and all those things, but like you have to have a sort of a basic level. But anyways, so I've never been one that thought that coding was sort of limited to any gender or anything like that, or any occupation or any interest or anything like that. I think supermodels can be uh, coders. I don't know why they'd want to be. I mean, if I was a supermodel, I'd probably rather just do supermodel things. But anyways, that I'm off track here. So I am very excited about where we are today because today I want to code that to where this letter can um, be configurable. So basically, in this, right here before bevel enable, I just want like this to be a text box that you can type text into. So and then after that, all that's left is font, and then I think we're done with text, and then our learning of text is sort of the opportunity to learn this stuff has come to an end, and we'll move on to other things. So So, you know, that's why I kind of like to really do a deep dive when I'm in it, because, you know, when you only, it's only a short amount of time that you get to deal with these things. But mesh item, and that'll, I guess text will probably be the right thing to make that. So mesh item dot text, and then the last few times I've missed where for update where we needed to update it, so that, you know, like if all you updated was the text, it would take. So Control F, I'm going to look for this guy, and I'm going to add that to this. So this basically checks to see during update if anything has changed, and if it has, then it creates a new ThreeJS object. And of course it's breaking because, oh no. So it isn't the text though. I don't know what that is. We're going to have to actually circle back around and figure that out, because it isn't an option. And I don't know, we'll have to console log. I'm going to add that here, console log mesh item. And what is the text? Okay, so now this is breaking, and it's breaking because the interface does not have a mesh, a text in there. So I'm going to add that here, text, and we'll add string to this. So now we have it, but now it's a required field, so now it's going to break over here in the component. And so I'm going to put it right by the bevel enable, and text is equal to, and then I don't know, I guess hello world. I love that, hello world. Most people's first thing in coding, I hope that's still the case. So then I think, let's see, let's just try it. Let's just try adding a mesh and changing it to a text and see if that works, and see if it says hello world. Yep, so that's cool. The height is still weird, so weird, but yep, so now that's good. So now we can go look at our console log and see what the text. Okay, is this? I think I actually did the wrong thing. Let's see. I thought it was so cool. Yeah, it's not the mesh item. It's the update mesh that I want to see. I want to see, because it's not one of the options. It's not one of the options. It's something else in there that we need to be checking to see if it changed. So, man, that was going to be so smooth. Let's see. Text. Now I'm like blissfully ignorant at this point, because because so today is like the first day that one of my longer form videos has gone out. Oh, I probably just need to change something. Bevel offset of 1. Yeah, there we go. And so I don't know like how people are feeling about the longer, like that, like for you it's like 5 days ago there was my first like 30-minute video came out, and I don't know, like where I just live updated. So you'd think that word like hello world would be somewhere in this. Text geometry, draw range. Maybe it isn't. That's going to be kind of a bummer if there's no way to look in the actual mesh itself and see what the original text was. But it looks like they may not actually store that in in the in the object. You know, they just store all like the geometries for it. See, they say it's a text geometry, and see in here they have like all the shapes, and they have the font, but they don't actually have this, you know, in these options, but they don't actually have like the original text, which I would imagine makes it very difficult um, to let's see, figure out um, what, you know, like to go backwards. Like, how would you go backwards from the like from this information to know what the text is? Like, if you haven't stored that off somewhere, which, you know, that doesn't completely surprise me. Like, we ran into this with look at as well. Like it doesn't store what it stores what the current camera is looking at, not what it was set to originally. And it kind of seems like this text geometry is not the actual text that it used to generate the text, to generate the drawing, isn't ever displayed, which, I mean, isn't ever stored anywhere, which is kind of a bummer. Because for look at, I kind of had to store that and then like update it on that. And so now if this wasn't TypeScript, what we could do is just make up our own attribute and just be like, oh, okay, so let's just go ahead and make an options called text. But unfortunately, so we would just be able to be like, okay, I'm just going to create my own geo parameters dot options dot text. But see, it's not going to allow us to do that because Angular won't let that compile, which, you know, is good and is bad. It's kind of bad because, you know, like, it will make things more complicated, but it's good because it kind of makes you legit. So now I think what we have to do is say we're going to have to handle that in the mesh interface. I think we did the same thing with look at, like we stored like the original look at text, and then I'm just going to call this text org for original string, and then I'm going to actually put a comment in here to determine used to determine if the text has changed. All right, so this is kind of a hack. I hate that we have to do this, but it's useful, and I think it's necessary. Maybe there's a better way to do this, but so I'm going to set it to to blank for the text, for original text. So this will trigger it updating, I think. I mean, well, it will. I don't think it's necessary because it's when it's created. Initially, it's going to do it. But so, you know what? I'm just gonna sync it up that the original text is hello world. So that means when we create the text mesh, it's going to have hello world in there. But then if we alter it, then it'll be different than the original text. And so now what we can do is in our mesh 3 service, that's what we can compare to see if it's changed. So this is like, I don't know, this could very well be like very confusing to you, because it's because, you know, like I've already gone all the way through the process of updating a mesh and making it configurable like 10 times or 8 times or something like that. So like I have it in my head where all the pieces are, but it probably, if you're just watching this for the first time or something, it would be confusing for sure. But basically, I'm going to check to see if the original text is equal to the. I think the basic logic is pretty obvious. We're just checking to see if the original text is different than this text. And either way, no matter what, at this point, it's just like if we've gotten in here, we might as well, we can just make the mesh item original text. Dot original text origin equal to the text, right? Because now we are going to update it. So, and it's just that I've done this sort of thing 1,000 times before. But basically, anytime you're checking to see if there's a change, once you've done the update in response to any changes, you can just update it and sync them up, because they're going to, this puts them into sync. And so, like, let's say all you did, nothing changed in the options. This was the only thing that changed. Now you're going to fix it to match up with make those two, make the new change what the old change was. Now, we don't have any way of updating it right now because we don't actually have, oh, do I still have that console? No, I got rid of the console log. You know, so when you go and create a mesh and you convert it to a text, like we don't have anywhere in the in here where you can update the text itself. So next I'm going to update that. So I'm a little bit discombobulated by the whole fact that you can't see what the text was in ThreeJS. I would say that, like, I could find, like, I generally can find a million things to complain about an API, and like the only thing that I would complain about an API, and it's probably just my ignorance, it's probably me not understanding, is that, like, sometimes it doesn't keep for look at, and now for this, it doesn't keep what originally created how whatever you're rendering was displayed, you know. So, you know, it would be nice if it had that original text for reference. But anyways, that's not a whole lot to complain about, trust me. So I want to create a text field, and I think these are all basically text fields. We just make them numbers. So okay, so the hint is going to be the text that is rendered, and then I'm going to see if I can get away with text. I don't know if I can get away with text, and then that might come back to bite us. I think it should be fine, but it is a little weird that it's a kind of field, and I don't think text is a reserved word in reserved words in JS. Let's see, PQR. Yeah, so text is not. It wouldn't surprise me if text was a reserved word in JS, but it's not. So should not. I don't think there's gonna be any problem with it being a reserved word. So now if we go like this and we look in there, we should see our text. We'll have an error, but we see it. So if we were to look at the console log, we'd see an error in there because we do not have an actual text. So now I'm going to do a search on beveled enabled. Historically, we've only had to make 3 changes. This one is a little different, but I think we're still good. So I'm adding text and text. So the only thing you can change over here is text. You can't change original text. You can't even see original text from the component. So that's just a purely service level piece of functionality. Control copy, hit the Windows. I hit the Windows button all the time when I'm trying to do that. Next. should have one more. This is for our update. So I've even gotten to the point, because I was before I was like calling out, okay, this does this, this does that, but you know, we've just done it so many times that I'm just purely just going through the motions now. And now is the part where you say gulp and you go, okay, I hope this works. Come on. So you can't see the whole thing. Hi. And then our height is too big as per usual, and that's awesome. And then let's see. Let's go ahead and close this down. Move this down like -2, -1, and then make that a text, and then make this a world. I don't want the hello though. Then make that a height of 1, and that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and make this just like a normal, and then make our other one a normal. It is interesting, the world looks like it's in front of the height to me. And let's just pull the high to 1. So now it's in front. So it's just like a little bit low, you know, like, so if we, yeah, there we go. And then we make it 0. So that's pretty cool. It's definitely seems to be working. And we can do cool stuff that I'm pretty happy with. Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else that I should do as part of this. I feel like I'm... Oh, okay, yeah. No. So it would be good to figure out why this is so short. And let's see. Let's inspect this thing and see if we can figure out what... if there's something that I can set. If I run, you know, it could be something very obvious, because I kind of set these up a long time ago. Let's see, let's go in here into the template, and I wonder if there's like a width or something like that. Let's see, 100 px. What? 100. It's kind of a bummer because we'll have to add messages. So many steps to getting in here. I don't know what that is. Hate to spend too much time on that. But in 100 might... Let's make it 1000 so we can just double check that that is not working. Add mesh, show edit form. Yeah, it's still cutting off. Let's see, inspect again. So that's this text box. So its width there is 50. So what if I made it like 150? So that definitely solves the issue. I don't know if I need to, quite what the right way of making that width correct. Let's see, Angular material, UI component, library components, and then let's see, let's go to dialog. I think it's called text. Might be input. Yeah, so I don't know why their input is so much wider than mine. And it could very well be that, okay, so they have this example full width. Min width 150 px. I wonder if that's what it is. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and look at my CSS now. Okay, so yeah, this is what's doing it right here. Is I set the width to 35 pixels. Now I don't know why it was 50 pixels in the viewer. Let's see. Or no, that's probably what it is. Input. So I probably need to add another class to that one. So so I think I can just say like class equals I guess it's just like text, right? Class is equal to text. And then I can go into my CSS and I can say input dot text is equal to 150. And let's see if that works. Show edit forms. Text. Yeah. So that's what it was. Is that I had at some previous point, because all these were numbers, made it to where the maximum width was 35 pixels. And then, so here what I'm saying is that this input, if it has the text class as well, then go ahead and make it 150 wide. And that worked. Now, I don't know, I'm amazed at how many people, so there was like a time like where we went from when CSS first came out, where like the topic of the day was this concept called specificity. And specificity is like, every time I meet anybody who has been coding for like less than like 10 years, they've never heard this phrase. And it's so important. So like basically, you can look it up, CSS specificity. It's definitely worth reading about. It's not a very complex topic, and I think that's probably why this is probably the W3 schools is probably the best way to do it, to read about it. Let's see. So it's not a very complex topic, but it basically tells you how to figure out which rule is going to be applied to a element, HTML element. And it is definitely worth a read. And it's definitely the kind of thing that you can literally spend 2 hours of your life learning about, and then it will save you hundreds of hours in the future when you're trying to figure out why something doesn't work. So it's CSS specificity. So in the way CSS, and they used to talk about specificity poker, and I think that all went away. But it was a way like saying like, if a rule just applies to an actual HTML element, it gets a score of 1. So this gets a 1. But if it's a class, then it gets a score, I believe, of, I think the way the classes, it gets a 10. So this one, it has a score of 11. It gets 1 for the input and 1 for the text. But this one here, it gets a score of 10 because all it has is a class. And then I believe if it's an inline style, it gets a score of 100. So if inside of my, in here, I created a style where I created my class, if I created a style, and I said width is equal to 200, then that gets 100 points of score. And then if I think that's how that works, and then I believe an ID gets 1,000 points. So if it was ID equals text, and then if in the CSS I said, and then text, that's 1,000 pointer. I believe that's how it works. And then I believe, well, it'll tell us right here. So yeah, see, this one is a class. This one, okay, so this is an ID. It gets 100. Okay, the inline style gets 1,000. That makes sense. And then I believe important. If you have an exclamation mark important, then that gets like an infinity or something like that. Like it can't be overwritten. That's why it's really important not to use. Let me see if they have important in here. Okay, there's one exception. If you use important, the rule will override, even override inline styles. And I don't think it actually has. I think it's infinite. The only thing that can beat an important is another important that comes after it. So it does give preference to a style that comes after it. But anyways, that's like the kind of thing where it's like, I think what happens is it's pretty easy to understand, to learn, and then so no one teaches it. But it is so incredibly valuable to learn. So it's like, I would definitely suggest, if you made it this far in this video and you have never heard of CSS specificity and you do web browser development, that you spend a bit of time, an hour, maybe two, just reading and studying this stuff, and you'll get a lot out of that. So I probably went really long on this one, 32 minutes, sorry. Happy coding. Let me get into here. Happy coding, everybody. Bye.